Can you outline the first few actionable steps of your business transformation? And I know you mentioned it started sort of 15 years ago, but if we narrow that gap to sort of 2019, to sort of put a pinpoint to go, okay, we've been working in this way until at that point, what are those first few actionable changes that like review or whatever that might have looked like?
Yeah, I think the big change for us came when we did consolidate the Swedish market back in 2020. Then we really changed the way how we did business, because at that point we had got into NetLife, we had the scalability of the software in place, and we really could start transforming the company. So I think for us that was the biggest game changer for us, when we went from growing the business to actually scaling the business. At that point we weren't hold back from the tech side that we needed to bring more people on in order to get certain features. I think for us that was the biggest thing.
Was it important to get the key, I guess, management team on your side with your vision to
100%? Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And also at that point in time, when we made a few acquisitions simultaneously, we actually also at that point went from outsourcing the production to in-housing the production, and that was a direct link to the type of people we had in the management team. So I do agree on this one, because you need to have the right people in place that have a mindset of scaling instead of growing.
Do you find that's like a big challenge in our industry, because many people have worked in the industry for so long, they've been doing it a certain way for so many years? Was that a struggle for you to get them to think, or?
Both yes and no. Of course, we those changes we made back in 2020 was a tough one. We went, maybe I don't have the precise numbers here, but of course we made a lot of people redundant due to those changes, and that was really good for the company, but also necessary for us to actually take those steps in order for us to be positioned in a place where we actually could move the business even further and beyond from that. People in place, software in place, in order for you to have a good position to actually be able to scale the business instead.
And just circling back around to the production side of things, I'll let you tell it, but if you could describe the production center and how many people actually work in your production center. And I just want to classify for those people in Australia, at least, production that we're going to talk about right now is print production, not production of actual putting things together. So if you could sort of describe a little bit about your production, how many people you have there for 4.5 million students per year.
Yeah. I think we do have more production facility than the one, but if I isolate the Nordics, and by the Nordics I mean Sweden, Norway, Denmark, I think as of now in those markets we take pictures of like 1.5, 1.6 million heads. So all that volume is produced and is printed in from one production facility, actually where I am as of now, in the center of Sweden. So we supply both Sweden, Norway, and Denmark from one production facility. And when we made that transition for 2020, it was fragmented, but as of now, we have 4 people running that business.
And we just rewind there. 4 people running the production facility.
Yeah, 4 people on a yearly basis, and we have 1 more seasonal temp workers that come in between 9 to 12 weeks during the peak season. And the peak season in Nordics, that it's basically from mid-August to mid-October. Yeah. And they manage printing and packaging.
Yeah.
So those 4 people runs everything with printing and packing.
Yeah. So let's get this straight. 1.7, 1.8 million subjects. And you've got 4 people in print production.
Yeah, but one of them is a manager. So basically, three people.
Three people manage.
Yeah.
Okay. We need to for everyone who's listening to this, they need to know how is this being done. I know how, but if you could just talk us through that.
It's a variety of things that made that possible. First of all, I have a great manager in place who runs this facility, but also using the technology, using the NetLife system. Of course, we don't pack manually anymore. We do it. We do it with a packaging machine. And we'll, of course, tons of decisions ending up where we can have that efficiency. But I'm not lying here. And we only run 1 shift as well. So we do that in maybe 8 to 10 hours each day during the peak season. So even our production facility is scalable, where we actually can bring more volume in. But the problem for the Nordics is that we don't have that much students. So it's basically quite small countries. But we are proud of it, and we are, of course, if somebody wants to reach out, of course we are here. So we don't hide it. But that's one of the reasons that we actually are on a path of scaling the business, because that playbook we can, of course, grow in other countries as well.
Yeah. And just on that, the amount of orders that go out the door, because you guys are home delivery only, if I understand correctly.
Yeah, in both yes and no. I think different markets have come to different long in that journey, but in Sweden, Norway, we are 100% back to home.
Yeah. And then if a parent orders an order at 9 a.m. in the morning, is that order out the door, or is that the next day?
Depending on which day, of course. But basically, if we take pictures today, the parents can see tomorrow, and then on Friday we can print and execute on that delivery. But of course, we have longer time during peak season. But I would say everything that comes into the web shop today will be printed and packed by 5 to 6 working days during peak season.
During peak season, yeah.
And peak season for us, it's very isolated in Sweden. We have like 9 weeks where we have 180 photographers on the field taking pictures only in Sweden. So we have a very short window for us to. That's also a difference, I think, between different markets. It's very, very centralized to a few weeks in Sweden.
Yeah. So
that's
great. I'm sure there's going to be some companies out there that that'll be very interested to learn a little bit more about that production, because that's, in this part of the world, that doesn't exist. For 3-4 people in print production for 1.7 million students, it just doesn't exist. So it's a magnificent outcome with that. So how has the business operations fundamentally changed since 2019 or 20? What outcomes are you seeing? Are we looking at things like consistency, fixed cost reduction, net profits? What are we sort of seeing with those things as fundamental changes since the implementation?
Yeah, of course, due to those changes we talked about, of course, we are profitable. We don't complain about it, but we made everything extremely efficient. But also, I think consistency is key, but also to have cost control. That's key for every business. It's when you have control over the cost, you have control of the company. With that being said, I think you need to have a different view on cost control and wanting to try new things. Of course, we do invest a lot in trying new things and trying to develop things. Of course, we have a budget for that, but with that being said, we constantly try new things, and we want to develop the features that we have. As I said earlier, we are chasing throughout the workflow. We are chasing seconds. It could be uptime on the computer, or it could be in Sweden, Norway, and Denmark. The school catalog is a big thing. We chase seconds in order for us to make those catalogs digitally. So I think regardless in which department you work in our in-house in our company, I think we are constantly reviewing how we do things and how the setup is. So yeah, I don't know if that was an answer to your question, but
yeah, I might circle back around to one thing. In regards to net profits, because quite often when I talk to companies, my question to them is, how do you increase net profits? And many companies will go, we'll sell more. And I go, can you control that? And they'll go, oh, well, can you control mum? Can you take the money out of mum's purse? You can certainly have influence, right, over the sales, whether it be communication, whether it be package pricing, all of those sorts of things. You can have influence. And I always sort of say, you can't really control that, but what is it that you can control?
Yeah.
And that is only one other thing, which is cost.
100%. And that's where efficiency come in. But with that being said, of course, we also talked earlier, Glenn, but I do think that I think the industry is quite underdeveloped in the way we now hit the market with e-commerce. I think we have a lot to experience in order for us to actually try to grow the business from an income point of view, where we can be better supplier, we can be a better e-commerce company. Do we send the right type of text messages towards our customers, so on and so forth? That could have a positive impact on the income. But as you said, I think you need to have cost control, because that's the way you control your company.